Hello everyone, Chris here, and today I'd like to compare and contrast Udemy and UseFedora for you as platforms where you can publish video courses for sale, as opposed to places like YouTube where basically you're giving away all your videos for free, which is nothing new. Sometimes it's better to sell a course because it makes sense. You have all this content packed into one. On YouTube, people generally don't go to part 10 of a series, but when they pay for something, they will be more likely to actually complete everything. So anyway, if you want to publish a course, Udemy is one option, possibly one of the oldest ones out there, and most well known as well. I heard at one point that you actually got something like 100% of the revenue on all sales that were made on Udemy, but these days you only actually get 50% if Udemy brings it in for you. So if it's a student that's basically going to be found from the search engine that Udemy has, which is the difference between many of the other platforms, because Udemy is basically, it's a lot like YouTube, just for paid courses, where you have all these courses and they're searchable by different categories, and boy, there's a lot of different categories. There's no end to the number of people trying to do this kind of stuff, where they basically give tutorials on how to do just about everything. Not that that's a bad thing, because, you know, you got to know how to do stuff, and it is an effective way to do it. But anyway, if they find it like this, and then they just go and click on your course, kind of like I'm doing right now, and they hit take this course, then the author only gets half of that. So they'd make 90 bucks after charging 180. And you will notice that a lot of the courses on Udemy are kind of priced a little bit high. I think they might be doing that in reference to that so that the author still makes a lot of money, but somehow, you can tell me how they do it. But somehow, a lot of people manage to actually get a lot of students enrolled on a Udemy course. And that's one of the things that stands out about Udemy. I have only had my course published for a day or two, so I can't really comment on the effectiveness of the search engine, but I do see a lot of other people having success on Udemy. So the 50% revenue isn't so bad if you're getting like 1,000 students or something like that. Let's say you have a $50 course, 1,000 students, that's half of 50,000, you would make $25,000, and that is not bad, let me tell you. Though I'm sure that the people who got that did a lot of promotional work to actually make that happen as well. It's not just like you record 10 videos and suddenly you get $10,000. It doesn't work like that. Anyway, but if you do happen to make a coupon for your course, which I guess I'll go here and show you that you can just do that. And most of this course software stuff, you can make your own coupons. But if you specifically make a coupon through Udemy, then you'll get 100% of the revenue of the course when they purchase it. The 100% of the remaining revenue, because of course your coupon's going to give them a discount. So it might be like 20% discount, so you would get 80% and then they'd save 20% by using your coupon. And you can market that kind of thing on something like your YouTube channel. And that's all well and good. Getting 100% there is really good. Otherwise, I think it would be kind of hard to recommend driving traffic to Udemy if like you're going to lose half of it alone, because places like UseFedora will only take 10% plus $1, or 8% if you pay the $30 a month for the pro version. But more on UseFedora in a bit. Now, one thing that Udemy does have is a lot of different documentation. So right here you can see, okay, yeah, I got my course published, and then they have Ultimate Guide on How to Become a Bestseller on Udemy, Instructor Promotion Tips and Tricks. They have some information about how to do promotional announcements. I was looking at that earlier. And a bunch of other stuff that you can actually search just through their documentation database. And it's pretty dang nice, I gotta say. A little bit better than a lot of the other ones. Having documentation is pretty standard, but I do think Udemy in general has a little bit more of it. They've been around longer, so that's pretty good. Now, one thing that really kind of irks me about Udemy is that they do have publishing standards that, I mean, sometimes are a little bit annoying. Like, for instance, if you have like any background noise at all in your video, then they are going to basically say, well, no, you have a hollowing effect, doesn't sound good, you got to fix your audio. And the thing about that is, fixing your audio once it's been recorded is it's not always so simple as just going into Audacity and doing noise removal. So sometimes you can screw yourself over. You want to make sure that you actually make good content before you go and upload it, because they won't let you publish until it meets their quality standards. And I mean, having standards is fine and all. And one thing that they do in order to compensate for that, because they realize maybe not everybody gets it right the first time, is to let you upload test videos. And so you would upload them and they'll give you feedback, which is actually really nice. They have actual people who just go and do this and will give you suggestions. And yeah, that's pretty helpful to have a real person actually go and tell you what's wrong with your course so that you can actually make fixes to it. And like as you can see here, they'll respond if you talk to them. So it's like having a support ticket where they just kind of help you make your videos. Not actually record them, but give you feedback. Now, one thing Udemy can do, and I think I'll have to Google this really quick, is Udemy thumbnails. Or DuckDuckGo, rather. So Udemy, there is a form, and hopefully I can find it right now, where you can actually just have them, and yeah, that's not going to have it, but you can have them go ahead and create a thumbnail for you. Actually, I think this is it right here. Yes. This guy was telling me about it, Roland. Oh, what? Your course is already published? Okay, well, yeah. So you get course image design. Yeah. So you get a image design for free for your course, and it can be either illustrated, photographic, or a combination. And they will just have an artist go ahead and create it for you. You can, of course, upload your own if you know some Photoshop. Right now, the one I have is just one I made myself, and I do have it in queue. Like this one right here, it's like, oh, I put a shadow for the OBS logo. Nothing special. But I do kind of hope that when they do come around with the actual artist rendition one, it'll be a little bit nicer than that. And keep in mind, this course has literally been on Udemy for a day, so you can't just look at it and say, oh yeah, 0 students, because I haven't really even had the chance to promote it. But either way, I will have a link to the course in the comments, since it's just too obvious to go ahead and promote it here. Okay, let's see, what else can I say about Udemy? Well, we already covered the search engine, and that's nice, because you can get a few views. I think without having done any promotion up to this point, I've got 5 or 6 or 7 search engine views from this. 6. Yeah, okay, so we're up to 6 now. So that's about 5 or 6 in a day based on my course, which might open broadcaster software. That might not be the #1 thing people are searching for, but hey, the point is you can get some free traffic there, and that's never a bad thing. Okay, built-in box to hold conversion codes. Ah, yes. So if you're going to integrate things like Google AdWords, with Google AdWords, you can actually set up conversions where it will track whenever a sale is made. And normally you can do this with any kind of website, but Udemy makes it really, really easy. With a third-party integration button, you can just go here, Google Analytics. UseFedora also has one for Google Analytics, but what UseFedora doesn't have is the spot for conversion ID. So you don't have to actually mess with JavaScript or anything like that. You just create the conversion in AdWords, the conversion tracking thing, and then you just put the ID over here, the landing page labels, the other labels, which is all going to be listed when you do create the conversion tracking thing on Google AdWords. Whereas if you do this in Fedora, then you actually have to manually add in the JavaScript and mess with the variables, and that would be a real pain for anybody who doesn't know computer code, which I assume is most people out there, but hey, I mean, I could be wrong. Okay, so that's enough about Udemy. UseFedora is another one where I've been kind of playing around with, and there are things I like about UseFedora compared to Udemy. Of course, the 10% plus $1 that they take out of any of the sales they make, and they do handle the transactions for you, that's a plus. So Udemy, if Udemy drives a sale for you, they take 50%, but UseFedora, takes 10% plus $1 all the time, which, you know, it kind of depends on how you're getting your sales. If you are, say, buying pay-per-click ads, and then you lose the 10%, well, Udemy is giving you 100%. But at the same time, if another Udemy student, you know, like you have a Udemy student and you make another course, I think you only get 50% revenue for any of the future ones. Only the people you bring in with the coupons are actually going to give you 100% revenue with Udemy. Whereas UseFedora, it's 10% plus $1 that they take off of your profits, and that's it, which drops to 8% if you do pay the $30 a month. So if you're getting a lot of new students, like you're getting like 30, 40 students a month, then of course you just go ahead and get the pro version because that saves you money. And 8% flat all the time, no matter how you get the student, isn't bad at all. But as far as I can tell, pretty much you do have to do all the promotion by yourself. And that can be a little bit of a pain. Let me show you some of this page right here. So this was what I created for my OBS page on UseFedora. It looks nice, I'd say on par with Udemy. And then you have the class curriculum down here. You can click that and get more frequently asked questions, and they have a default terms of use and privacy policy for you. Now, with UseFedora, what you can actually do is put it on a domain, or rather, you can set it to associate itself with one of your domains. So it doesn't have to be, say, the name of your class or school rather, .usefedora.com. That's the default. If you actually have a domain name that you've purchased for like $5 or $10 from GoDaddy, then you can just make that the website that people actually go to. So almost like having your own WordPress site, except instead you use the domain name for your UseFedora site. So it's really a platform. I don't believe you can self-host it necessarily. You might be able to, but I never saw anything like that. So it is hosted on their servers, but you can use your own domain is the point. Okay, and since basically you manage everything here, like you can go ahead and customize the pages with a Power Editor if you really want to mess with cascading style sheets, CSS, or JavaScript, PHP, anything like that. You can really mess around with this. So it's pretty much like your own website. But in addition to that, since basically you're managing everything yourself, there's really no publishing standards. The UseFedora police aren't going to come and say that you have a bad background audio, you got to fix it, etc. The thing is, though, you know, if it's not good enough to post on Udemy because it doesn't meet the quality standards, is it going to meet the standards of the students who might be trying to enroll in your class? And I would say, not so much. No one wants to hear annoying background noise. They don't want to hear too many clicks on your keyboard or anything like that. And, you know, in a lot of cases, they probably want to see a talking head. That's what they say anyway, that talking heads are more effective, and I would believe that. Most Let's Players love talking heads. And that's part of how they get more views, more reactions, being able to see the person as they're actually talking. Makes it a little bit more personal. But yeah, you can basically publish anything if you want. And it could be free, it could be paid, it's up to you. Though I think most people who are trying to make video courses probably want it to be paid. Now, one thing that you can do with UseFedora is integrate it with a bit more extra stuff. Because you have access to, say, the headers and the Power Editor, you can basically take any plugin where you just have to like copy and paste JavaScript and post that in your pages, or post that in the include this in every page kind of thing. So that would be like your Google Analytics, Google AdWords as well. The thing is, although you can basically integrate a lot more than Udemy, because Udemy just gives you those few boxes here. Basically, you have Google Analytics and Google AdWords, and that's it, by as far as I know, because it's Udemy's site. They're not giving you a subdomain. It's just Udemy. And of course, they don't want you messing with the site. But yeah, with UseFedora, you can edit it. You can basically customize it just about as much as you want. But the more in depth you get here, the more it's going to be a pain in the ass. And if you are writing custom code and that kind of thing, unless you're a programmer who knows what they're doing, you can easily cause more harm than good. So yes, it does have more power. It does have more capabilities. And you can even include it with a bunch of different webhooks. So if you want like a emailing list, Aweber is really good. And they have some other stuff. Zapier integration allows you to basically take a whole bunch of different apps like Gmail, for instance, and link it with UseFedora, where like whenever you have a sign up, it'll do something in Gmail, like send an email. And that's one way you can customize it. I think that's all under the extensions page. So yeah, this would be your page for if you want really easy to integrate plugins, and they have a few. MailChimp, one of the most popular email marketing services, of course not free. Mixpanel and Google Analytics are for analytics. Zapier, already mentioned that, and Discus Comments. I do believe in Fedora, in Udemy rather, they do have comments built in, but in UseFedora you have to manually enable it. So really it's no different. You just have to get this Discus short name, and that's not too hard. But anything beyond this, and it becomes a bit of a pain. Like you don't see Google AdWords here, so if you want to do the conversion thing, that is going to be a little bit tricky because you have to mess with the variables. But I don't want to ramble too much about all that, even though I already have for 16 minutes. So in general, what I do think of Udemy and UseFedora, it does suck that if you're not bringing your own students in with a coupon on Udemy, that they do take 50%. But if it's a student which basically just kind of found your class, and maybe the Udemy search engine actually helped out with that, and it has the Udemy name behind that, and that's the only reason you got the student, then yeah, maybe there's something to that. It's kind of justified for Udemy to take part of the revenue. Although 50% is a little steep, you can still make a lot of money. And it is fair, at least, that when you do bring someone in with your own coupon, you get 100% of whatever's left. That much is fair, at least. Though, I do, in my mind at least, kind of favor the, once you get really rolling with it, the just 8% flat for UseFedora, because then you're always going to get 92%, and you have more control over your site, which is good. In general, I just, I've read some posts, and there are people who really don't like the 50% revenue thing on Udemy. Anytime someone signs up for your class and you're not using the coupon, you lose half the revenue, and that's a really big deal. The fact that they have this space so that you can just easily add in the conversions for Google AdWords, though, that's good. That makes it a lot simpler for less technical users. So I would probably say if you are not a very technical user and you just want to get it out on the #1 most popular site and give it a try, probably Udemy is the way to go, because they can give you a lot of extra feedback. It's pretty helpful. They can even help you create a thumbnail. It's a little bit easier to get set up with Udemy. With UseFedora, I like the fact that it's just, they'll take 8%, period, and that's the end of the story. I have more customization over the site, and I can even set it to be my own specific domain name instead of chrisnavar.usefedora.com, which is a subdomain. The real website is usefedora.com. It's just Chris Navar is the subdomain. So I hope that gives you a pretty good idea of Udemy versus UseFedora. I think they're both pretty solid options. Now here's the thing though. There's nothing that says you can't have your course on multiple websites. You may have noticed, or you should have noticed if you're really paying attention here, that I have the same course put up to both websites. There's no reason you can't use both, and you can also include more than that if you want. There are other platforms out there. A lot of them, though, a lot of the non-Udemy ones do have a upfront, like, monthly fee, and I think they do that instead of having a percentage of the course fee. Some of them have both, where you pay like $100 a month to host it with their platform, and then they take 10% off your revenues as well. But UseFedora is just only when you make a sale, and that's good. But yeah, I would say give both a try. Why not? But personally, I think I like UseFedora a little bit more, so I'm probably going to be putting links to UseFedora in the future. You know, if I do keep going with these course things and I have videos where it makes sense for people, if they were looking to learn how to record and stream content using OBS, basically #1 video recorder on the PC, which is also free, by the way. It's really awesome. I love that software. And yeah, that's about it. And that is a terrible conclusion, but I hope you learned something from this video. Udemy and UseFedora, both solid options. Udemy, it's probably the place you want to give a shot to start things off. UseFedora, also a good option, especially if you want to have your own subdomain, or your own domain name rather, and to have more control and customization over everything. You'll probably like UseFedora if you're a programmer. Anyway, I've been Chris. I hope you found this video useful, educational, all that. If you want to check out my OBS course because you want to learn how to record and stream software, go ahead and check out the comments. I will have a coupon for it, of course. I mean, I keep talking about coupons here. And I'll catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.